Hey guys, Mayflom here, and I am working on my scrapbook for 2016, and I'm putting it together in pocket page style pages. I may pull some of that out into traditional, but what I want to do with this video here is, as I'm doing this, I'm actually sorting out a lot of ways that the various tools I have can assist me. And in this video, I want to show you 3 different ways that my ScanNCut is helping me with my scrapbooking. First way is to customize journaling cards. This is a 3x4 card I've got on a mat. I'm just going to go ahead and insert this. All right, and then I'm going to go into pattern, and I'm going to pick a word here. There's so many different words. I always like to kind of just go through them and see if there's anything in here that I want to use, because sometimes there really is. Now I'm going to set it under 4 inches wide, since I know it's a smaller piece. And I'm going to push this button right here. That's going to scan it. And that's going to show me where, this is where the scan part of the ScanNCut really comes in handy. It's so fast, I'm not even going to cut the video because I'm going to let you see. It's so fast, and it just scans your mat in. And this is great for a lot of different things, obviously not just scrapbooking, but it shows you right where your stuff is. And you could even go in now if you wanted. I'm going to shrink this down a little bit and say okay. And then I'm going to zoom way in on this so that I can really get a good sense of where it is. Okay, so we can see there's my card. Now I can move it wherever I want if I want it to be centered, which I think I do. Okay, so I can put it however I want. Okay, and then I can make sure this is just regular cardstock, so about around 4 should be fine for my blade depth. I can just cut it. I can just say cut, and then I've customized a journaling card with a built-in file. We could also do this with a file of our own. And here you can see I've got my card, I've got my little travel punch out. I can use them separately, I can use them together. Easy as can be, and even more fun, guys. If I'm not quite sure, exactly how I want to decorate it, let's say I'm here at home with my ScanNCut and preparing to go to a crop, I can go through and find the spot I think I want it in my scrapbook. I can go through and slide the card in, maybe slide this in as well, just so it's somewhere, and have it just in the pocket ready to go. So if I was preparing for a crop or a retreat, I can do all this at home with my ScanNCut and minimize how much I'm having to take along with me. Okay, now another way. Here I've got a piece of vellum. Let's say we want to make, it could be anything. Let's say you want to do some decoration with it. Maybe you want your own journaling card, photo mat, a decorative element. This is vellum on here now. It's gold foiled vellum, so pretty. But let's say you want a specific shape and you don't want to have your corner rounder out. You don't want to get out your paper trimmer and all of that. And you want to see exactly how big it'll be before you cut. Okay, we'll go in here, and I like a really heavily rounded corner, and I'm just going to say set. And then I'm going to repeat here where I scan the mat. And once that is scanned in, I'll be able to see exactly what size it is. I'll be able to see what happens when I move this around. And if there is a specific one that I want, like me, I would definitely want fun in there, then I'm going to go to here. I'm going to go push this button right here. And this button right here, if I push it, if it's purple, I can do just the width. Okay, and I want to do exactly 6. And I can do the height. I'm doing 4x6 because I am working on a pocket page style book. However, it doesn't have to be. I could do any size that I want. And as you can see, I can move this around so that I can see if I'm getting the fun in there, if I wanted the word fly in there. Actually, now that I'm doing this, I kind of like the idea of fly being in there. So I can move this around, and I can see, instead of having to guess or gauge on the paper itself, I can just go, go like so and see exactly what I'm getting. get exactly what I want. And once I'm happy with it, just have it cut out. And I could cut out as many of these as I wanted. I could also add, and I'm going to bring this up now because, you know, when you're cutting out your paper, I always do like my hearts. I'm going to add a couple of, we're going to go a little smaller than, let's say 1.25 inches. So I can always add a couple little hearts. Okay, so I can add a couple little hearts here, and what that'll do is just give me some embellishments. Okay, so now I'll have some embellishments that I can utilize here, and I'm going to put some of these way down here in this little area. And this is going to let me have little things that will coordinate with what I was already doing, okay? And I like that because then as I go to make stuff, I've got things that I know I've got things that already go together. Now this little guy here, this little one, I want a little bit, just a tiny bit away from there so it's not overlapping. Okay, once I am happy and I'm looking at everybody looks good, we're ready to cut. Finally, and this is just for today, guys, I'm just sharing with you 3 ideas that I'm using this week with my ScanNCut. Obviously, there's lots more, but the 3rd idea I've got for you here is custom titles. So I've got some pattern paper on here, beautiful pattern paper, and I know that I want it to say Hawaii. I want it to say Waikiki. So I can go in here and pick out a font. Remember that if you don't have a font in here you want, and in my blog post about this, I will link you up to my video about the font text tool that you can use on your computer and then move things over here. But for this, I don't need that. I don't think, at least. Okay. So that's what I want. I want it to say Waikiki. Actually, I want it to say Waikiki Beach. Now, I've got 2 different options here. I could go in here if I want it all to be one file, or I can just add. I'm going to go for just add, and I will show you why, because we can add that in there. But now I know I want it to say Waikiki Beach. Now, notice that if I try to get it all across, it's very wide, and that's our old paper that's showing. For something like this, at least for right now, I'm not going to necessarily worry about it. We will scan it in a minute. What I want to do right now is go in here, and I'm going to just shrink that down a bit. And I'm noting that the height is 1.15. I'm noting that because I want to make the height on the word beach the same, because I want these to have the same look here. And then I'm going to slide these together. Not too close, but just so there's a little bit of space. And I'm going to make sure that they're both against the top. I'm pushing them against the top so I know that they're at the same height. Then I'm going to push this button here. This selects everybody. And I'm going to push this button right here, which is going to unify it, meaning it's going to treat this now as one thing. Now, because I think I want my title to look like this, and I believe I want it to be just under 6 inches, I'm going to see what this looks like. This is what I love about the ScanNCut. 5.9 is fine. That's just under 6. I can see in here, you know, what this is going to look like. I can also scan this in so that I can see on my specific paper. And I can also combine here if I want to see, because I know it's going to be on a 4x6. And I'm going to go like so I can change the width. I know this is going to be on in a 4x6 area. So if I want to change this like so and say, okay, I can also see what that's going to look like. I can see how much, and I think I like that down there the best, but I can see if I want it to be like this. Would I rather have it be formatted a little differently? I can go like so and press this top button here. I can push this button. That unlinks it, okay? But they're still linked together. And I do this sometimes. We're going to select everybody, then unselect everybody and say okay. Don't ask me why, but that's the way it works. Now what I'm going to do is put these 2 against the far edge here because I want them to align on the right. Yeah, I want them to be aligned on the right. And I'm going to say okay. But you know what? I don't want them down in that corner. So I'm going to, this is what, guys, I show you my process and I show you, you know, me saying yes, no, etc., etc. Not because I'm bumbling around here, but because I know that when you're in the creative process, that's how it goes. So if we do it like so, we're only selecting those two. Go like so and say, okay. And for some reason, it keeps selecting that. That's all right. It's got those two now and say, okay. I'm going to unify them. And now I'm going to expand them a little bit. It was just a little, let's see, we're going to go to just about 3.75 here. And let's see how that looks. And now I can bring this back down here and bring that into it so I can see how I like that. Okay, I like that a lot. I think that would look really nice. And I think that that would be a beautiful title card, actually, just exactly as it is. I'm going to cut the whole thing out. I think that'll be beautiful with that flower there and things, the little palm fronds going up. So remember, guys, when you're in here, it's okay to play around. It's okay to think and change your mind. Don't stress out, because the worst case scenario is you just start over. Just clear it all out and start over. That's the worst case. So nothing bad can happen to your paper. Nothing bad's going to happen to your project. And I love that. Anyhow, that little side ramble aside, we're ready to cut and get this going too. Here's my finished card. It's going to look so great. I'm going to need to back it with white cardstock, but because I am not doing this finalized or anything yet, I'm just able to get some stuff prepped. I really like, especially when these days, you know, some weeks, some days, things are real busy, real crazy. Well, guess what? I can take a few minutes, prep a few things, and even if that's not where their final place is going to be, set them in the scrapbook, set them in a pocket, set them in, whether it's a full page protector or a pocket one like this one, set it in there so that I've got it where I want it. Then I can come back and create my scrapbook pages and decorate. And I've got my little hearts in here, so when this page gets going, I've got my little hearts that I can put on different elements to tie things in. For example, if we were doing it here, you know, we could put some of them on this picture or this picture. I just love that it breaks it down, and my ScanNCut really helps me with planning and breaking things down. Pocket page, traditional, traveling scrapbook, all of it helps me get things going and breaking things down so that I can make the most of my time and so I can get these stories scrapbooked and told. Stay tuned for future adventures in my scrapbook. I will definitely be sharing more, and as always, more on the ScanNCut as well. If you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment. I will see you next time.